So recently, I received a request asking to show how I fight the Khuzaits with an infantry-only Nord army, and luckily they came and thought they could take one of my castles with a measly 700 men. Couple of things to mention before we get started. First, I do not know what is going on with my character icon on the top. I promise you, I am not role-playing as some kind of French mime. You will see once we get started that is not the case. Secondly, I am not that good at this game. So if I can do this, any of you can do this too. Have a quick glance over each of the enemy parties so you can pause and take a look if you want, but we're going to get started. First thing I like to do when I spawn in is take a look at the area I'm going to be fighting in. You'll see lots of trees, and we have mountain cliff face on kind of each side of us, which is pretty much exactly what you want when you're fighting a cavalry heavy army like the Khuzaits or the Valandians. Basically something that's going to stop them from getting up to full speed, block them, force them into certain areas where you can create kill boxes like I'm going to try and craft here. So I'm putting both of my infantry squads into square formations, kind of close together so they can still support each other. But those horse archers are going to come charging in. They always will come charging in. It doesn't matter. They just can't help it. And hopefully they will get drawn to my two squares at the front. And you'll see the archers I'm setting up at the back on elevated areas will be able to shoot down onto incoming cavalry and basically any that swarm around the back of the infantry units will just be getting shot at, whilst the horse archers are focused entirely on the infantry because they will tend to go for the largest group of soldiers in one spot. They will just go for the biggest target in an area that is closest to them. So if you place the infantry out in front, they will take the initial charge or damage assault from your enemy cavalry units. Next, you're going to see me move the 10 cavalry units I have in my army that are part of a different lord that I have called upon. And I couldn't be bothered to physically go and remove them, but you're going to see that is the last I'm going to touch them. I am not going to be giving them any commands once we get started. I'm also going in here just tweaking a little bit of my setup where the archers were. I didn't like how far forward they were going, which is something, don't be afraid to move things around a little. That extra effort definitely pays off when all the chaos starts to happen and you lose control of everything. Here, you kind of see the L shape I'm going for with everything on the archer side. Loose formation all around. A majority of those are Nord Sky God Chosen. I absolutely love that unit. It's basically the Vlandian sharpshooter, but if you hate crossbows. That's basically what it is. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that they all have a nice line of sight to fire, all clear, no one blocking each other, which will happen if you put them in line formation or anything tightly packed. So always loose for archers. And then I'm just coming in, tweaking the last bit, and now we're in. You have a horse equipped to this character. It can make things a bit easier on larger, more open battlefields where you need to move around a bit more and get everyone in place. But I am going to dismount like a true Nord once the fighting commences. I'm going to quickly try and just give you a better look at how everyone is set up here. See, one arch unit close, one's a bit far, but it's not going to matter. They're all going to be firing plenty of arrows. Both of the infantry squares do have the hold fire command because I want them to just be melee ready for anything that comes. I don't want them to waste any of their throwing axes until the enemies are within range, because what will happen is as soon as anything gets close, they'll just start hucking them, and most of them will miss. And then cavalry comes in and they start getting smashed. Final overview of the layout here. M249s will now be representing the archers, and miniature Arnolds will be representing the infantry. You'll be able to see here all of the lanes of fire that the archers will be shooting from, and anything that comes into this area is done. It's over. Goodbye, good night. Here come our horse archers, galloping up. They hit the cliff face. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. Next thing, they find themselves in our horse archer bye-bye zone, and they just evaporate. For anyone wondering, I'm using the RTS commands and camera mods. It's the only mods I use, but it lets me pause the game, go into free cam so I can get some nice overview shots for you people. It also provides these green highlight pointed arrows that you're seeing there. This is it, the battle is beginning. Horse archers are starting to come in, but they are not focused on my infantry, which is what I'm realizing here. They're actually entirely focused on the right unit of archers, which is not what I want. I really want them to come from my infantry. But you'll see, the first kills go to us, and we are stomping them. Just look at the rolling. There's one, there's their first, they get a couple now. But I move the infantry, and look how small of an adjustment I make. But that is going to be enough for the horse archers to go, oh, look at that. Look at those guys over there. And here they come, storming in. But it's all green in the feed, no red. See how they're kind of doubling back? They're hitting trees, the big rocks are stopping them. That is a optimistic throw. Got some horsies, where are their riders? What happened to them? At this point, I'm just kind of sitting back and letting the archers rain fire down. I don't know if you can see, they are circling trees in there. They are completely lost and have no idea what they're doing. Now I'm switching to shield wall for the infantry units because the enemy is getting close. I'm also going to use a great feature where I can transfer the troops from one unit to another to combine my infantry into one giant, nearly 400 strong force. And I have given them the fire at will command. So they've been storing up all those axes, and they're going to chuck them into all these shields, weakening them. Look at how I'm destroying shields with one throw because of all the perks I have. Now that the lines have met, I've given a charge command. This helps keep your troops close together whilst the enemies are kind of spread apart. What you want to try and do is go to a flank and get behind enemies, like I will do shortly once I've finished clearing out these Khuzaits. Because this is where you can make the most difference. If you empty out all of these troops from one of the sides, because they're going to ignore you and be completely focused on your men, and you can just swing away. And as soon as you've cleared one side, all those troops are freed up to help the other side. I am realizing that my units are getting a bit spread out, so I'm going to give them a command to move just to get them back in a proper formation. Being close together is the best thing for your infantry. And then, like you see, it is back to carving up cavalry. This is another one of the best ways you can influence a battle. Hang around the edges and take out any cavalry that gets stuck on your infantry. Easy kills. Here come the enemy's reserve wave, made up of tier 1 and tier 2 troops, going up against my tier 5 and tier 6 troops. I'm also going to bring in the archers because I don't want them to feel left out. Back to clean up a little bit here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to just give the charge command soon. It is over at this point. Look at the power bar at the top. There it is. Back to clean up. Once again, the troops are completely ignoring me. There's a couple here who want to try and take me out, but that's their mistake. My character is a melee champion, built to last. I have 7 points in vigor, 7 points in athletics, 7 points in control. And those are great combinations for an infantry focused army, because all of those perks and the buffs and bonuses are going to be passed down directly to my men who use the same weapons and same fighting styles, and it just turns your army into something that is next level. And this applies to all factions. If you base your character around the type of units that you're going to be using and the kind of weapons that they're going to use, you can turn any faction in this game into the best faction in the game, and you will find that they destroy every other faction just because they have damage output and survivability greater than the other factions can even compete with. And with that, it looks like the battle is over. I always like to celebrate with the men. It's good for morale. It's good for my morale. Give them a little smack. Show them some love. It's just a little love tap. They don't even feel it. They're so tough. But I hope you guys have found this video useful. I'll get the scoreboard up here in a second so you can see we only had 46 deaths and we got 93 upgrades, whereas the enemies had 431 deaths and 23 upgrades. But it doesn't matter because they're all prisoners. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I have spent 2 full days editing. It might go into a third at this rate, so it would be greatly appreciated if you could give me a little like, comment below to let me know your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. We're getting very close to 100 subscribers. For now, that's goodbye, folks.